In 2022, Paris Saint-Germain handed Kylian Mbappé the most lavish contract football has ever seen. We're talking a staggering 220 million euros in wages, bonuses, and a loyalty clause worth an eye-watering 80 million euros a season just for staying put. 2 years later, he just walked out the door for nothing. Real Madrid never even tried to match that avalanche of cash, yet they're the ones unveiling him under the Bernabéu lights. A dream come true for both player and club. Today we're cracking open the ledger and showing you exactly how Florentino Pérez, the master negotiator, turned patience into arguably the biggest bargain in modern sport. It's a masterclass in strategic maneuvering, and it fundamentally changes how we think about player transfers. The Parisian money storm. Let's start with the numbers that made jaws drop and heads spin. Mbappé's 2022 extension tied him to PSG seemingly until 2025. But here's where it gets sneaky. That deal contained a crucial one-year player option. Translation: if Mbappé refused to trigger that extra season, the deal expired a year earlier in 2024. PSG, having originally splashed an astronomical 180 million to sign him from Monaco in 2018, banked heavily on the Frenchman taking the money again. They even structured an 80 million euro loyalty bonus payable every July just for sticking around. Add image rights, a reported 70 million euros gross salary, and a 30 million euros signing premium, and the club were staring down the barrel of 220 million euros over just 2 seasons. Honestly, they weren't just buying a striker, they were trying to buy obedience, a loyalty that, as it turned out, money couldn't fully secure. Inside the opulent Parc des Princes, the mood turned frantic once Mbappé whispered in June 2023 that he wouldn't be extending. Qatari ownership, desperate to protect their investment and their global brand, tried absolutely everything. We saw another loyalty hike offered, political pressure from the Élysée Palace even reportedly brought to bear, and a high-profile mid-season exile from first-team training, all designed to strong-arm a U-turn. Nothing worked. The player simply waited, collected his final wages, and, with a quiet dignity, strolled into free agency territory on June 30th, 2024. PSG's monumental gamble had detonated in spectacular fashion, leaving them with a reputational bruise and a gaping hole in their attack, but also perhaps a valuable lesson learned: Madrid's quiet boardroom. While Paris threw cash at the problem with an almost reckless abandon, Madrid, as they often do, plotted in silence. Their strategy was a masterclass in long-term vision. Go back to 2017. Florentino Pérez, with an almost prophetic foresight, froze almost all major signings aged 27 or over. Instead, he bet on cheap, promising Spanish core pieces. Think Valverde, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and shrewd sales of fringe assets for plus valuas. The result, a remarkably stable wage bill, even as revenues surged post-pandemic, giving them immense financial flexibility. Free transfers became the new, understated transfer policy, a stark contrast to their historical Galacticos era of splashing huge fees. David Alaba arrived in 2021 for a 23 million euro signing bonus and 12 million euro net wages, a mere fraction of what Manchester United paid for Varane that same window. Antonio Rudiger followed a year later under an almost identical structure. Each deal, though never explicitly stated, carried the same whispered clause: an unspoken understanding. Room left for Mbappé. The club meticulously kept the right flank of the wage grid empty, almost as if the seat was being warmed for a king who hadn't quite shown up yet. This wasn't just about saving money, it was about creating the perfect financial and squad ecosystem, a symbolic passing of the torch ready for its next iconic figure. The 2023 ceasefire. By autumn 2023, the writing wasn't just on the wall, it was etched in stone. It became abundantly clear Mbappé would honor his word and leave for free. PSG, bruised but pragmatic and desperate to avoid another Neymar-style media circus with bitter accusations and public spats, agreed to a gentleman's ceasefire. The terms were simple: they would not brief against the player, nor would they publicly accuse him of disloyalty. In return, Madrid would delay the official announcement until the precise instant his contract expired. That handshake saved months of speculative tap-in headlines and, crucially, allowed both brands to control their respective narratives, maintaining a veneer of respect despite the underlying tension. With the path cleared, Madrid's inner circle finally moved with precision. Juni Califat, their highly respected chief scout, flew to Doha in November, not just for a casual chat, but to meet the player's mother and lawyer, initiating the formal steps. The outline of the deal was elegantly simple: a 5-year contract at 15 million euros net per season, which, remarkably, was half of what PSG were paying him. This was sweetened by a substantial 100 to 110 million euro signing bonus, cleverly split into 5 yearly chunks. No need for a release clause. Mbappe trusted the club to keep their word, and Madrid knew they had a player whose heart was already with them. The contract was discreetly signed in May 2024, sealed in a notary office off the Paseo de la Castellana, and then locked away in a safe, awaiting the Grand July reveal. This wasn't just a transfer, it was the culmination of a long-held personal dream for Mbappe, a testament to the power of mutual respect and strategic patience. The ledger that shook Europe. Let's translate the jargon and the mind-boggling figures into plain English, shall we? PSG's offer, a staggering 220 million euros just to keep him for 2 more seasons. Madrid's offer, a 100 million euro bonus plus 75 million euros in wages spread over 5 seasons. Even if you add in performance bonuses and image rights bumps, the total still sits comfortably shy of 190 million euros. And that's spread across half a decade. Do the math, and the sheer financial disparity becomes crystal clear. Flip the perspective, and Madrid's genius shines even brighter. They secured the planet's most marketable athlete for an annual cash outlay of roughly 38 million euros. Think about that for a second. That's less than what Manchester City paid for Jack Grealish, less than what Barcelona still reportedly owes for Frenkie de Jong, and roughly the yearly amortized cost of Antony at Manchester United. In exchange, they pocket a player whose shirt sales crossed the 3 million unit mark in a mere 48 hours. An unprecedented club record. Every 30 euro replica shirt sold at the Bernabéu brings in around 24 euros of margin. Do the multiplication and you'll quickly realize that the signing bonus is already or will soon be halfway paid for just by merchandise alone. This isn't just football, it's shrewd business, a commercial juggernaut in the making, image, legacy, and the third act. But money, as always, only explains half the story. The rest, the truly compelling part, is emotion and ambition. Mbappe grew up idolizing Cristiano Ronaldo, famously posting childhood bedroom photos draped in white Real Madrid gear. In virtually every interview since 2017, he repeated the same line, a quiet mantra: "My dream is to play for Madrid." Turning down 80 million euros loyalty bonuses undoubtedly hurts, a decision few would make. But for a player like Mbappe, legacy lasts longer than any cash pile. He prioritized his personal ambition, his dream come true, over immediate financial gain. Florentino Pérez, ever the visionary, understood this assignment perfectly. He didn't just offer money, he sold Mbappe the compelling concept of becoming the face of a new European dynasty, the crucial bridge between Modric's aging, legendary midfield, and the vibrant Spanish core that's rapidly coming of age. The official presentation drew an astonishing 80,000 fans to the Santiago Bernabéu, a turnout bigger than most league fixtures, a clear sign of the immense anticipation. Within a single week, Madrid's social channels added 12 million new followers. Sponsorship chief Bagona revealed that 3 global brands immediately reopened talks on naming rights for the newly renovated Bernabéu. The ripple effect, both cultural and commercial, absolutely dwarfs the upfront bonus. This is about more than just a player. It's about a global icon joining a global institution. What it means for PSG. On the Paris side, the balance sheet looks grim, losing a generational talent for zilch, yet, oddly, it feels liberating. It's a significant reputational bruise, absolutely, but wiping 220 million euros off the next 2 budgets frees up an immense amount of room. This financial breathing room allows them to chase a more collective, less star-dependent model. Sources inside the club suggest the Qatari owners have finally, and perhaps painfully, accepted that no single Galactico, no matter how brilliant, can guarantee the coveted Champions League trophy. They are now reportedly targeting depth pieces like Dembele and Ugarte, and have brought in a younger coach in Luis Enrique, who explicitly prioritizes system and team cohesion over individual star power. The Mbappe era ends with a cabinet full of silverware. 6 League One titles in 7 years is nothing to scoff at, but also with an invaluable, albeit expensive lesson. Money can buy obedience, but it can never truly buy devotion or a player's player's deepest aspirations. Ripple effects across La Liga. Back in Spain, the transfer doesn't just shift the competitive axis, it tilts the entire landscape. Barcelona remains shackled by their restrictive spending rule. Atletico have been forced to sell creative assets, and Sevilla faces a significant restructuring. Madrid, meanwhile, added Mbappe for €0 on the transfer column, brilliantly keeping within La Liga's stringent salary cap thanks to their staggered bonus payment structure. The league suddenly has the global poster boy it so desperately needed after Lionel Messi's emotional exit in 2021, and broadcasters are already fighting tooth and nail over El Clasico rights at an incredible 40% premium. Even rival presidents in private conversations grudgingly admit it. The narrative is back, the excitement is palpable, and La Liga is once again at the very heart of the global football conversation. If you're enjoying this numbers deep dive and the inside scoop, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. We drop weekly stories on how the business of football really works. No jargon, just facts, and a healthy dose of wit. The hidden winner. Every saga, especially one of this magnitude, produces its silent, often overlooked winners. One clear beneficiary is Monaco. Remember them? They shrewdly inserted a 15% sell-on clause back in 2018 when they sold Mbappe to PSG. Guess what? They will now collect an estimated €15 million of that signing bonus, even though no traditional transfer fee technically exists. Another winner is the French Football Federation. Mbappe's increased global exposure at Real Madrid significantly boosts Les Bleus merchandising, just in time for the crucial 2026 World Cup cycle. Even Nike benefits immensely. They renegotiated Madrid's kit deal last winter, adding a juicy €10 million annual bonus if shirt sales top 2 million in any given season. Mbappe's arrival doesn't just mean that clause might trigger, it means it will trigger reliably every single year, becoming a consistent revenue stream for them. It's a web of interconnected financial success stories, all stemming from one free transfer. Could it happen again? Clubs across Europe are taking meticulous notes. Trust us, Bayern Munich are now reportedly inserting loyalty penalties into new contracts, a direct response to the Mbappe situation. Liverpool, always innovative, leans towards shorter deals with huge performance triggers, incentivizing on-field success. Arsenal quietly explored a free transfer route for a high-profile 2025 target, understanding the potential. The lesson is crystal clear. In an era of utterly insane €100 million fees for good not great players, patience combined with immense brand power and strategic financial planning can deliver the absolute elite for free. Florentino Pérez didn't just orchestrate a transfer, he effectively wrote the new playbook for acquiring generational talent. Expect copycats from the boardrooms of Manchester to the offices in Milan as clubs scramble to replicate this audacious yet brilliantly executed strategy. So there you have it. That's precisely how Real Madrid bagged the best player alive without paying a single euro in transfer fees. They resisted panic, weaponized their unparalleled brand, and let the ticking clock do the dirty, lucrative work for them. PSG threw a staggering €220 million at a wall, hoping it would stick. Madrid spent less than half that over 5 years, and walked away with the crown jewel of world football, a player whose heart was always destined for the Bernabéu. It's a story of patience, strategy, and the ultimate triumph of a dream. If you learned something new, and we hope you did, then smash that like button. Share this with a friend who still thinks free means cheap, and comment below, which player should Madrid target next using this exact ingenious playbook? I'm reading every single one of your comments. See you in the next one.